In this Dreamtime sail episode, a new government regulation regarding liveaboard sailors during the COVID-19 pandemic puts our cruise to the Great Barrier Reef at risk.
At Gary's Anchorage on Fraser Island, our crab pots work overtime, with good catches of sand and mud crabs for every day.
Karen rises to the challenge of making every crab meal different, much to my delight. In Our Galley, she provides some tips.
And we sail through the tricky shallow channels of the Great Sandy Straits and further along Fraser Island to Kingfisher Bay.
Gary's Anchorage is located in an offshoot of the main channel of the Great Sandy Straits. On our port side at the moment we have Fraser Island, the southern tip of, and it's the world's largest sand island. When we swing across the other side, that's actually an island, and this channel continues around and reconnects with the main beyond those mangroves. We get a fair bit of tidal run in here, and what we've had is tide one way, wind the other. We're a full keel boat, so what happens is she likes to hang to the current, but the wind's been strong enough to, well, do battle. So we've had wind versus tide. And there's our snubber. We have gone round and round and round and round. But I have to say it's been a very comfortable anchorage, even with 20 odd knots yesterday. It's currently blowing 30 knots on the outside of the island over at Double Island Point. So we certainly can't complain. And we're catching crab, relaxing, doing everything you want to do as a cruiser. Let's hope the crab like mackerel hits and frames. Hopefully good crab for lunch tomorrow. Very calm, very peaceful.
Still being overtaken by butterflies.
Heading down to check the crab pots. Hopefully we've got some nice muddies, some sandies. I don't care, as long as we've got a feed. Oh no, I got a big sandy in there.
Oh, it's a nice one.
It is a nice sandy.
And it's a male.
And it's a boy, even better. Okay.
Okay, so we have 4 crabs in here, this one.
The big one looks like a boy.
Yep.
Okay, I'll get that one out of the other pot.
Ooh, so we have a nice sandy there.
And it had a big female in it, which I just took back, and it's gone reset. Okay.
And it looks like we've got a good feed in here too, Rob.
Oh yeah, there's crab everywhere.
Yay!
Just got to work out the sexes of them. We got a whopping big mud crab in there.
2 muddies and 3 sandies I see, yeah? Wow, I was just baking cake and now I'm going to have to make crab. Maybe we combine it and make crab cakes. and we're measuring him off here.
He's kind of marginal, isn't he?
He is,
So,
and I think we don't need him that much, hey?
we'll let him
Got
grow
some
up.
bigger ones in there, so we'll send him back. See you, mate. See you next time.
And how's our girl going?
So we'll be able to get the girl out as well now.
There
And
she
she's
goes.
away, swimming merrily.
So in our galley, we like to cook our crab in rolling boiling water, then put to a simmer, and in lots of salt, as much salt as you can. Sometimes we use salt water, but this water is a bit murky, so we've used fresh water and put in a lot of salt. And in they go for 8 minutes. Like so. And 8 minutes on the timer. If they're a little larger, I'd probably leave them in for about 10. To clean the crab, it's quite easy. You just fold back this flap here on the base, turn him over, pull the top, and that comes off. It's just as easy just to wash that out, taking the gills, and any of this. And crack the body in half. And we're done. Nice big money that we got in the pots. So he's about to go into the cooking pot. And he's nice and heavy. So I've been ordered by the skipper, fresh sourdough, and all he wants is mud crab for lunch on bread. We caught so much crab, I needed to get creative. This morning Rob went out and picked up our pots and we got some lovely crab. So we are going to have crepes and crab.
Sounds fine by me.
In a large mixing bowl, sift 1 cup of plain flour. Once it's all sifted, add your 2 whisked eggs. Gradually add your half a cup of milk and a half a cup of water and whisk until it's combined once again in. Heat a non-stick large pan over medium heat and melt your olive oil and butter together. Pour a scoop of your batter into the pan using approximately 1/4 cup at a time. Tilt the pan with a circular motion so that the batter coats the surface evenly. Serve your crepes with cream cheese spread all over and fresh picked crab meat. Roll and serve. It makes a great meal for any time of the day. This morning I'm just going to make up some phyllo pastry parcels. I've got some spinach and feta, and I've got some of our crab, some rice and some spices in there. I'm just making these up. We're going to be on the move for the next couple of days, so I want to have lunches that I can just pop out when we need them and spend not much time in the galley. I've just layered up 3 layers of the phyllo pastry with brushed melted butter in between. My first one will be the spinach and feta, and I've popped in some of my frozen egg that has been defrosted. If you want to know how I freeze my eggs, just pop over to the Our Galley blog and all the instructions are there. Just pop in the crab and rice filling in. Just going to make 2 of these for our lunch. So divide it into 2. first bit over, rolling this one in and then rolling that side in and folding it as a parcel as we go. Just adding a bit of butter on the edges so that the filet not only sticks but crisps up as well. Through the centre. And I'll sprinkle those with some sesame seeds and we're done.
Well, we thought we should give you an update of what's going on with the COVID-19 situation here in Australia. We're currently anchored up at a place called Gary's Anchorage. It's on the western side of Fraser Island, extremely well protected, and one of our favourite spots to stop actually. But we've been here for quite a while, since coming up from, we left Bribie Island up to Mooloolaba, then to Double Island Point, across the Wide Bay Bar, and this is our stop. Because things have changed. When we were at Double Island Point, we found out that the government had made a regulation regarding liveaboard yachtsmen. Up until that stage, it was a simple matter that as it was our house, our boat, we were able to move.
We were.
And a number of yachtsmen were moving, as you need to do. You can't just stay in an anchorage if it's not safe. But now they've turned around and said that while we are permitted to remain living aboard our boats, we are to stay in one area. So that changed our world a lot. We took a little bit of time to check out the regulations and go online and have a look at what the permitted reasons for travel are. And amongst those is one that is you are permitted to travel to avoid injury or illness. And that's what we were doing in the first place. So Karen, you got on to your doctor?
Yeah, I called up my doctor. We had a teleconference, and obviously, as we have spoken, we were moving north. One, for my health reasons because of my asthma. The cold weather is just not great for asthma, and I tend to pick up every flu or cold, regardless, even if I have my flu, shots. So my doctor actually provided documentation for us to be able to move north, for us to get out of the winter weather, out of the cold. And so that's exactly what we are now planning to do. We'll be waiting for a weather window to head north.
Yeah, it's not just a case of trying to avoid getting a cold. The reality is that those colds and flus end up with complications for Karen, and
Yes.
quite often pneumonia and potentially hospitalisation. And the last place you want to be at the moment with
Is
COVID-19 ramping up is hospital. So we are remaining isolated afloat. As I say, we've been here at Gary's Anchorage for a little while. It hasn't been a real hardship because the fishing and crabbing has been pretty good.
Brilliant, yes.
But now we've got a document so that if we are challenged by any authorities, we can actually produce that and show that we are moving within the permission of the regulations. Now there is a lot of other boats moving. And we're not passing judgment on anyone else's situation because we don't know their circumstances.
No, that's right.
What we can say is there's a lot of boats moving with their AIS turned off.
Yes, that's been a very interesting thing. We're the only one with our AIS on, it seems.
A number of cruises seem to have gone dark.
Yes.
But there are a lot of boats, catamarans on the move, monos, motorboats, you name it.
They're all doing it.
All heading north. But we stayed put until we've got this clarification, and now, as Karen said, we're ready to continue. So onwards and upwards towards Australia's Great Barrier Reef. To facilitate an early exit for our crossing of the extremely shallow Sheridan Flats on the morning high tide, we moved to the northern end of the anchorage on the high tide of the previous afternoon and re-anchored for the night. We had seen multi-hulls use this exit from Gary's Anchorage on previous stops, but the charts indicated it'd be too shallow for our 1.5 metre draft. However, we'd done a bit of a survey of the narrow channel in the dinghy using our new handheld depth gauge, and we're now confident there'd be adequate clearance for us to go through about 90 minutes before the morning high tide. Using this exit would save us about 3.5 nautical miles, or about 40 odd minutes, and it would allow us to reach the flats right at high tide without the need for a pre-dawn departure in the dark.
One 6, repeat. 192 2426 27. I'm breathing again. It's all good. The chart is certainly out as per probably expected. Google Earth has given me a better idea right now.
I would expect so, yes.
Certainly wouldn't want to come through here at low.
No, I certainly would not have done that without a survey. My theory is to have the handheld and go through with the iPad running, creating a track. In the dinghy, of course.
Well, we just went over dry land.
I don't have enough light to give you any guidance at the moment.
No, that cloud cover came over just at the wrong time. It's all good. I'm just reading the chart and reading our depth, and we're just going to come on through fine. We're at 3.6, it did drop, but we're at 3.2, 3.6, 3.1, 3, so here we go. Nearly across, 2.5, 2.4, 2.5. 2.2, 2.1. We're across, we're back to 3.5 and climbing. Turning starboard to get back into the deeper channel now.
Roger that, good plan.
Our anchor came up with the sun the following morning for our exit through the narrow channel. Yeah, it's not quite what the navionics says, is it?
No. That's why yesterday, when we were coming to that really shallow patch of this, I can't really trust the navionics. I have to keep looking at the Google Earth to see it. And this is a bit from where we were anchored. I could actually see a sandbank right in the middle. I can see what you're saying now.
Yeah.
The optical illusion that the sandbank is still right in the middle. Just to give you a quick view. Probably come over a little bit to port. Always good to do a recce at the dinghy.
In theory, we should be coming to the shallow point in a minute.
It's fine. Don't turn too much. Keep out. As per this.
By my recce, once I was past there, I needed to aim for the left-hand trees.
Yes, now you would need to.
So coming out in the dinghy and having a look at low tide, and we never saw less than over what was supposed to be the shallow spot.
Turtle just popped its head up just here.
5 metres.
Always great to see this when we're busy. Ahead of us is some more shallows which we have to be able to get over. They're called the Sheridan Flats, and our tides aren't the biggest at the moment, are they, Rob?
We've got 1.9 metres, but it's actually high tide up here in about 20 minutes. So we need to keep running, get up there, get across on the high with a slack, and then once we're across the flats, the tide will start running out to the south where we are here and to the north up there. So what we're going to have is a nice current with us once we're across the flats.
We started a trend because another mono has just come out behind us, which I haven't seen before coming through Gary.
We've got 2 catamarans ahead of us. 2 catamarans and a mono behind us.
All of these trees that we can see popping out of the water are sitting on sandbanks. Low tide, this waterway just becomes a mass of sandbanks with small narrow channels in between. So navigating through here at high tide, you know that you've got the water, but it's very disconcerting because you think you could go anywhere. So we've popped out the sails and we've got what we call jib and jigger happening. What's jib and jigger, Rob?
We're just using the Genoa or Yankee, the headsail and the mizzen. We've left the main down. We're going to be doing a bit of winding back and forwards. This balances the boat really nicely, gives us a little bit of shove along. We're still motor sailing because we've only got sort of 5 to 8 knots of wind, and we want to ride the current out of here, so all's good. This is a reasonably conservative sail plan. As I said, the main is down. We've got 5 to play with. We've got a staysail, a furling staysail on the inner forestay. When we put that out, we can create a really great slot effect between it and the Yankee. We've got a mainsail, our big boy, and then of course we've got a pretty large mizzen on the Whitby. They took the mast off the Alberg 30 and said, that'll do, we'll use it. So we have to watch it because we can get a bit of weather home sometimes if we don't reef early enough. But in addition to those 4 sails, we've got a beautiful asymmetric cruising spinnaker. And really, when the conditions are right, our favourite sail to put up. She looks beautiful and gets along nicely in very, very modest winds.
Very popular anchorage over here on Fraser side. This one's called South White Cliffs, or further down, it goes quite deep down. It's commonly known as Yankee. One day I'd love to explore that creek that goes all the way through. You can see a little jetty in there, and I'm sure it would be very popular with the mud crab.
Once we reached South White Cliffs, we enjoyed a really lovely sail up the western coast of Fraser Island. Then on to our anchorage just off the Kingfisher Bay resort, where we kick back to enjoy just a beautiful sunset and a very peaceful night. Never get tired of this, do you?
So beautiful. Just listen to the water, just ripples. Birds in the background. In the next episode, we leave Fraser Island sooner than we anticipated and head for the Burnett River to shelter from high winds.
We catch so many mackerel, we have to stop fishing.
Our engine conks out miles from land.
From Our Galley, Karen provides her top tips to manage trash.
And the sky comes alive to announce better weather on the horizon.
We hope you can join us again next time. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. And don't forget the subscribe button.